85 million people. That's how many of us used BBM at its peak. And today, totally zero. This is not a slow decline. This is not a gentle fade. A company that once controlled 40% of every smartphone on earth, gone. The phone that Nigerian students saved for months to buy, gone. The BBM ping that told you your crush had replied, gone. So how does something that big just disappear? Let me tell you the story. Be honest with your full chest. Do you still remember your BBM pin? Now, I'm not even joking, because some of us still remember that 8-character pin stored up here like our mother's phone number. Back then, having a BlackBerry in Nigeria was not just owning a phone. It was like a major statement. If you had a BlackBerry, you had simply arrived. You could BBM your crush without spending credits. You could join group chats without paying for SMS. You could even broadcast your status. And yes, some of you used to send some very creative subliminal messages back then, don't lie. Now let's rewind a little, because the BlackBerry story didn't start in Lagos. It started in Waterloo, Canada. In 1984, a man named Mike Lazaridis founded a small company called Research in Motion. His big idea was simply wireless data. An era when phones could only make calls and send SMS, he believed you could read email on a handheld device. Most people thought it was crazy, but in 1999, RIM launched his first BlackBerry device, the 850. It looked like a pager. It had a tiny screen, but it did one thing nobody else could do: push email to your hand instantly. Between 2003 and 2006, BlackBerry exploded. Wall Street adopted it. The White House adopted it. President Obama famously refused to give up his BlackBerry when he entered office. That's how addictive this thing was. Then in 2005, RIM launched the BlackBerry Messenger, BBM, and that changed everything. Now, here's where the story gets interesting for us. Between 2008 and 2012, BlackBerry didn't just dominate, it literally became the cultural phenomenon. In 2010, BlackBerry controlled over 40% of the global smartphone market. But in Nigeria, the love was different. Think about it. At that time, data was expensive. SMS cost money. Making calls burned airtime. But BBM used very little data. You could send unlimited messages for a fraction of what SMS would cost. Suddenly, the average Nigerian student could chat all day without spending a fortune. Small business owners could coordinate with customers. Relationships bloomed and ended over BBM broadcasts. BlackBerry sold over 3 million devices in Nigeria alone. From the Curve to the Bold to the Touch, every new model was a status symbol. You upgraded your BlackBerry the way people upgrade iPhones today. The phone was so popular that Nigeria had its own dedicated BlackBerry service plans. MTN, Glo, Airtel, Etisalat, they all had BlackBerry bundles. We all remember BB Absolute, BB Complete, BB Social. BlackBerry even opened an office in Lagos. They knew Nigeria was one of their biggest markets on the planet. Before I show you what destroyed this empire, if you're enjoying this story so far, hit the like button right now. It tells YouTube to push these videos to more people. And if you are new on this channel and haven't subscribed yet, do it now also, because I tell telecom stories you won't find anywhere else. Now let's continue. But while BlackBerry was celebrating and lounging, something was happening on the other side of the world. Let me show you. January 9, 2007. Steve Jobs walked onto a stage in San Francisco. He holds up a device with no keyboard, no buttons, just a glass screen, and he named it the iPhone.
And we are calling it iPhone. Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone. We're going to touch this with our fingers. And we have invented a new technology called multi-touch, which is phenomenal.
Now I know what you may be thinking. The iPhones didn't come to Nigeria until much later. And you are right. But even though the iPhone didn't come to Nigeria until years after the US, the impact was still huge. Because the iPhone changed what people expected from a phone. Suddenly, the physical keyboard that BlackBerry users loved, the very thing that made BlackBerry different, started looking old. In 2008, Android joined the party. Samsung, HTC, and others started pumping out touchscreen phones. And what did BlackBerry do? They laughed. Mike Lazaridis, the owner of RIM, famously said, and I'm paraphrasing, he said, "Nobody wants to type on glass." You see, that single sentence might be one of the most expensive mistakes in business history. Between 2010 and 2013, BlackBerry made mistake after mistake. First, they tried to fight the iPhone with the BlackBerry Storm in 2008. A touchscreen phone that was so bad, it made people angry. The screen literally clicked when you pressed it. It was a disaster. Then in 2011, they launched the PlayBook tablet without email, as in a BlackBerry device without email. The one thing BlackBerry was famous for, the reviews were brutal. Meanwhile, in Nigeria, things were changing. Cheaper Android phones from Techno and Infinix flooded the market. You could now get WhatsApp on any phone. Suddenly, you didn't need a BlackBerry to chat for free again. BlackBerry's market share collapsed from over 40% globally to under 1%. In 2013, they bet everything on BlackBerry 10, a new operating system. It was actually good, but it was too late. The app developers had already moved on. Nobody was building apps for BlackBerry again. The company went from 17,500 employees to fewer than 5,000. In Nigeria, the decline was so painful to watch. By 2015, BlackBerry's Nigerian user base had collapsed. The dedicated BlackBerry data plans had disappeared. MTN and Glo stopped advertising BlackBerry bundles. The Lagos office quietly closed. But BlackBerry tried one last move. They made BBM available on Android and iOS in 2013. And for a moment, it worked. Millions of Nigerians downloaded BBM on their new Android phones. But the magic was gone. BBM was no longer exclusive. It was just another app. In 2016, BlackBerry announced it would stop making phones entirely. The company that defined mobile communication for a generation would never build another device. Then in 2019, the final whistle, BBM shut down for all consumers. So why did BlackBerry fail? Let me break it down. Simple, clear, and straight to the point. Reason 1, they ignored the consumer. BlackBerry was built for business, email security, productivity. But by 2010, people wanted phones for entertainment, apps, music, photos, games, and the rest. BlackBerry had none of the ecosystem that Apple and Google built. Reason 2, they bet on the keyboard. Think of it like this. Imagine a Danfo driver in Lagos refusing to switch from manual transmission because nobody wants automatic. Meanwhile, everyone else is already using automatic and going faster. That was the story of BlackBerry with a physical keyboard. Reason 3, they were simply too slow. Between 2007 and 2011, the smartphone market moved at a lightning speed. BlackBerry moved at a government pace. By the time they responded, the game was over. Reason 4, they lost the developers. Apps make a platform. No apps, no users. No users, no apps. It's a death spiral. BlackBerry entered that spiral in 2012 and never recovered. This is a classic business case study of what happens when a company that invented a category thinks it can never lose it. Today, BlackBerry still exists, but as a software company. They do cybersecurity, they work on connected cars, but the phone, the keyboard, the BBM ping that made your heart race when your crush replied, all gone. From 80 million active users at its peak to 0. From the boardrooms of New York to the hostels of Unilag, BlackBerry connected a generation, then vanished. In 2022, even the remaining BlackBerry devices that were still working lost full support. The servers went dark. No more emails, no more BBM, no more anything. And for millions of Nigerians who grew up with a bold or a curve in their pockets, it's the end of an era. Now, let's reminisce a little. Could BlackBerry have survived if they had done touchscreens in 2007? Or if they had built their own app store before Apple did? Or if they had listened to their consumers instead of their enterprise customers? Well, maybe we can never tell. But that's the thing about technology. The market doesn't wait for anyone, not even the king. If you enjoy this story of the rise and fall of BlackBerry, the phone that ruled Nigeria and then disappeared, hit the like button and drop some comment with your BBM pin if you still remember it. And subscribe to my channel so that you can follow up for more telecom stories like this. Also, with this storyline, do you have any phone in mind currently that you think they may also be the next to fall? Drop that thought in the comment section. I am Naija Telco Guy. Thanks for watching. Stay smart, stay connected, and I'll see you on the next one.